What's up, everybody? I'm Laurel, and welcome to Laurel's Moon and this bitch. So this is going to be my weekly message. I'm getting ready to light up because I was feeling some type of way earlier, but now I'm back to life. But I'm about to light this weed, so I want y'all to light it up with me. And while you lighting up, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. About to have a little smoke sesh. So, my parents taught me about loyalty and making sure that you have a bedside manner. You also have or should display good characteristics of a good friend or friendship. This weed tastes good, y'all. So, I feel like this. A lot of people are very, very emotional. There's nothing wrong with being emotional, but when you show your loyalty to people, your emotions and your reactions are what matter, right? Especially if you want a truce or you want someone to forgive you. Whatever the case may be. So I have a client, and she's been getting some readings for about 2 years now, about maybe 2.5. I'm going to tell you all my point in just a second, because I'm getting to the place where I'm going to stop at. But I wanted to tell you all this story because it does pertain to my weekly fucking smoke sesh message. All right, so my client that I have or had, she's no longer my client. She basically got what she wanted from me. At first, she started out with readings, and then I started to see that her readings were very repetitive in the questions that this person was asking. So normally, when people ask the same repetitive questions, I know that they're kind of stuck or they have a hard time understanding what they need to do. So that's why they come to me. And it's my job to open them up to new portals. And it's my job to get them to see what they need to change. Okay? Or changes that need to be made. So this client in particular, like I said, she had been getting readings that were only pertaining to her ex. Now, I do remember she kept getting readings a few times after she had done some magic. So let me start back then. I noticed in these times, like, she kept saying, I need my ex, I need him to get back. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? What do you need me to do? So basically, she starts talking about how she wants to get back at him. She wants him to lose his job because he came around her, saying that they were going to do this and they were going to do that, right, in their relationship. And I noticed that in the relationship, as I was reading her tarot cards, it was really like her having issues understanding that he's over her. His life is moving forward. And I had to tell her that a few times in her reading. Like, listen, sweetie, this guy does not want any of that energy. And she got mad at me and told me that it was very unprofessional of me to let her know that the guy, was over her and that she should be asking different questions in tarot. And not only asking different questions, but if you feel somebody is so destructive to that point, to the point where You want to see how destructive, or have spells being put on them to see how their life in ruins. You kind of have to understand what your aim is and what your goal is. And I ask those questions to get an understanding of where that person's typical behavior is, right? Or just their IQ. So as she got a destruction spell on him. After that spell, she kept asking in every single reading, is the destruction spell still working? And I'm like, honey, it's clear, it's working. We've done like 6 readings on this. This is very obsessive. I'm thinking she's going to be asking different questions, starting with her. The only time that she really did start asking questions about herself is when she lost her job. And this was directly after she had did the destruction, not directly after, but probably about 2 months or so after she did the destruction spell, or paid for me to do a destruction spell on him. Okay. So as I am reading for her, I'm starting to see like my Orishas and my Loas is telling me, don't fuck with this bitch no more. Okay? This bitch need help. She don't need psychic help. She need mental help. Okay? When you go to the facilities and are locked up and they monitor how you feel, your emotions, your emotional state, your mental states, that's what she needs. Because one time she hit me up, this was like 2 years ago. She hit me up and she said, I'm over here at his house. I'm like, oh my God. First of all, the pop-ups and the pull-ups, women should never have to pop up or pull up at anybody's house to confront them, period. I don't care how they did you, okay? If they robbed you or whatever, I understand. But you know what I'm saying? Shank their ass. But I'm just saying, it shouldn't get to a point where you pull up to a man's house trying to figure out what's going on. Okay? He should be coming to you directly. He should be wanting to figure out what's going on with you if he truly, truly wants you. So in those readings that I was doing for her, it was very clear that he did not want her. And I had to tell her that in a lot of the readings, like, because she would ask questions like, is he over me? And then she would ask questions like, what's happening in his life? Like, why do you care? You should be spending your time, spending your money on asking about your life. That's how you know that your business should be about your business, about what you're doing in your life. It should not be about someone else's. Now, when you gear yourself towards having to look out for people, I understand. But when you keep getting reading after reading after reading over a motherfucker, seeing when they coming back, okay, having magic and shit and all that shit done to figure out, where you stand and all that shit, a man is going to act how he was taught. So, boo, motherfucker. Shit, your old dusty ass. Shit, I can't stand nosy ass people. You gotta watch people too. But anyway, my whole point is this. I had to let her go because she said I was not loyal to her. Now, go back to the beginning of the story. It's been 2 years, okay? I have every single transaction, PayPal, Cash App, receipt. Also saying that I received payment, that she received her service. Okay, all that and all them motherfucking chips and all the snacks, honey, and all the chip dip. Okay, so I make sure that I save whatever receipts with these motherfuckers. Okay, she said that I did not do this last time. She said I did not do the destructive spell because I kept telling her. She kept asking every reading, is it working still? And I'm like, damn, you're not gonna ask about yourself? You were so upset that you lost your job back in July, saying that this is your karmatic energy for putting a spell on him. I'm like, bitch, but you ain't do the spell, I did. So who's getting the karma? Okay, so anyway, that's a whole nother story in itself. But with this chick, she was hiding in the man bushes. I'm telling her, don't do that, honey. Like, You know, ladies don't have to do all of that. Motherfucker, you don't have to do all that in this world out here. It's way too many characters and people that are willing to be devoted. Okay. But with her, I felt like, oh, look at that Papa and his dog. He's so cute. People will show you their devotion. Okay. You don't have to go searching far and wide. You don't. Now, it does take time for some people to reveal that they're devoted or that they want to give you their time. But in this case in point, this bitch wasn't getting it, okay? The man had moved on. He moved out. She was mad because he had moved on. She's still getting readings on him, and I'm pretty sure that man has never even called or gotten a tarot reading on that bitch in life, okay? I'm pretty sure that he has moved on with his. So even if people are stuck, why want to see them in destruction unless that's all you're concerned about is being stuck? Because that's what that is. And come to find out, she tried to project her issues onto me. And I'm like, that's not how you keep them anyway. That's not how you keep a man anyway. Period. So I could tell emotionally, I mean, she writing me paragraphs after paragraphs after every single reading. I'm like, baby, slow down now. This is just my job to relay the message on the questions that you ask, okay? Or the magic that you choose to get. It's up to, the spirit most of the time when they want that shit to happen. But I will tell you when it happens. I'm just that well connected to my ancestors and connected to my orishas and my locals that they know when to tell me when to go. So this point in time, I had to tell the girl, listen, baby, I can't fuck with you no more. You know, you doing bad business and shit. You at this point where you putting all your emotions and expressing all your emotions, after I give you a reading and you're not accepting of what is happening in the reading. So, baby, listen, we just gonna have to tie these knots. We just gonna have to, cut these loose ends and tie some things up, okay? And it got to that point where I had to explain to her, babe, look, listen, bitch, I'm not going to be wasting my time, my energy on somebody who is stuck. Because you stuck. You do one destructive spell, you should be moving on with your life, baby. Okay? It should be said and done, written in stone. And you going about writing your next chapter. Okay? Because you got something to be grateful about life if you can pay for a motherfucker to have a destruction spell. Straight up. Okay? And I'm at this point where, you can't be giving second chances and letting people skate on ice and shit. We just not finna do that no more. We too grown. We are adults in this world, honey. So I'm saying all that to say this. I had to leave Susie Q alone. And she got what she wanted with him. She complained to the utmost, like, honey, she'll never change. But what I want to tell people is this. If you have to get emotional on a motherfucker, either they got some deep-rooted shit that you can't handle or you can't solve, okay? Or your emotional issues is going to come out with what your intentions are and what you saying. And what you doing. I mean, think about it. Your subconscious may not pick up on things easily, but when your conscious is your guide, you know the difference between right and wrong. You can find that discernment, okay? And I got to a point where I just was like, girl, you got what you wanted from me. You trying to use me and abuse me. My lowers is telling me not to fuck with you. Shango said, don't fuck with this bitch. She is ungrateful. Straight up. Don't fuck with her no more. My whole thing is this. You get to a point where loyalty does remain in the emotion and the reactions that you're giving out. Like I told you guys before, emotions is just energy in motion, okay? Whatever you're thinking about, whatever has manifested, it will turn into that and it will start accumulating, okay? Like a fire energy fucking ball. Think about that. Just like this weed smoke. As you smoking, you trying to do something different, have a chemical change or have some sort of reaction to a solution, okay? Or to just have a reaction to relax your motherfucking mind, okay? Think of it like that, the fireball. So, whenever you have these emotional reactions, it comes out long term what your true intentions are, especially if somebody can read a room and pick up on their perception very well and they're in tune with their own intuition, okay? And usually when people are in tune with their intuition, they already have experienced it before, either in this lifetime or another lifetime. And you have to think about, in these lifetimes, the emotion that you have, is it coming from a deeper place? I'm like, baby, I tried to tell the girl, listen, baby, I can't help you no more in this lifetime. Our contract is over, okay? Yeah, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. My parents taught me how to have discernment, to be loyal, okay, to do what it is that you will want for yourself, to do it for others, period. And that's just rule, okay? I go by the 48 laws of my act. So, I have my own rules that I go by as well too, but I still have real laws of how to treat people and how to recognize when people are not accepting to your change or you guys have crossed paths, to learn why you had those emotional reactions or actions. Now, y'all know I got so much air in my fucking chart. I also have a lot of fire as well too. In my older planets, in my Saturn and Jupiters and shit, okay? So I have a chemical makeup that has water, fire, and air, but in that air, it's definitely a logical way of thinking versus it being emotional. And I understand as a Cancer and as a Gemini and as a Pisces rising, I really do understand reactions and emotions. But at the same time, you have to think logically in that moment what you want long term, those intentions. So for instance, I'm going to give you an example. Billy Bob, let's just say Billy Bob, this motherfucker, he wants to get married, but his mom, Billy Bob's mom, was never married. His father and him was separated, okay? Billy Bob meets this woman in his adulthood, and he finds out that he actually wants to marry her or, have a long-term commitment. But Billy Bob, when he meets Sarah Rose, her motherfucking ass is not on the level that Billy Bob thought she should be on, right? She might be trying to get over past traumas and family issues and children and baby daddies or whatever the fuck the case may be, okay? And he's ready for marriage. He meets her. Shit, the sex wonderful. They have good conversations, smoke weed together. They go out on dates and some shit like that, okay? So just some shit like that, okay? But it comes to a point where he notices that Sarah Rose is not emotionally charged like he thought. He loves her. He's come to that conclusion because he wants to marry her. But she isn't emotionally ready. How do you think Billy Bob, is this motherfucker gonna stay and wait on Sarah Bella Rose or whatever? Or is Sarah Bella gonna get that shit together or she gonna remain the same? So Billy Bob has to make some choices because he knows what this reality check is and he knows what he's working with. And when it comes down to understanding people and understanding things like that, you have got to realize you making those choices in your life based off of your own emotional reality, okay, from the past, present, and future. And you're also having to adjust and get accustomed to this lifetime, whether or not it could go downhill or it could go uphill. And most people are in that in-between fine line of being able to see if it's going to go long uphill or downhill. Okay. But I feel like, emotional wise, say for instance, Bella Rose doesn't know how to react and he wants to marry her and her reactions are just a complete turn off. Honey, are you is he thinking about long-term marriage anymore, or is he thinking about having to be somebody's caregiver because they're emotionally needing some support? So you need to be on your P's and Q's when it comes down to balance and balancing with others. Just straight like that. And a lot of the shit that's going down in the stars is definitely telling. Okay? Like what's happening, either you're together or you ain't. That's just basically what it is. Conjunction is when it's moved together to line together, it's moved together. That's a conjunction. And it's kind of like, since it's Jupiter and since it's, Saturn, there's things that you have to see. It really hasn't came together until now, but now you got to figure out what the choice is. Period. You come to that reality check. That's just all the fuck it is. And people have to get their fucking emotions together. Emotions and loyalty run hand in hand, because you will see where emotions, the reactions of your emotions and what's being put into motion is the basis of where the loyalty stands. So you have to think about what you want out of the relationship specifically. Like, do I want this long-term relationship, or do I just want to date and see how this goes? Or do I see me marrying this person and them being able to help me take care of my children, or whatever the case may be? You really have to think about that when you're having conversations versus emotions. So think about the logical sense, and also the emotional reaction that you're putting into things. Shit either is going to come together or it's not. Period. That's just, the human being experience. That's human being evolution, okay? Or devolving, okay? So think about those things in your relationships, in your friendships, what you're truly, truly wanting, okay? All right, guys, I'm going to get the fuck on out of here. I hope that you understood this message. I'm pretty sure y'all know my subscribers are intelligent and intellectual as fuck. So you all know, the genius part of yourself, and where you made some flaws and where you're going to, have to pick yourself back up. But at the same time, you know that you've achieved whatever mistakes that were mistakes. They were lessons that help you get through. Okay, so just remember that shit. All right, y'all, I'm signing out. I love you guys oh so much. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about this message. I love you guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.